Today, we're counting down 10 American cars from the 1960s with documented mechanical failures, quality control problems, and design flaws. These vehicles had real issues that affected thousands of owners. Let's start. Number 10. 1965-1967 AMC Rambler Marlin. The AMC Rambler Marlin was built on the wrong platform from the start. AMC chose the larger Rambler Classic platform instead of the smaller Rambler American, making the Marlin a 6-passenger size car rather than a true sporty coupe. The fastback roof design looked awkward and disproportionate on the mid-size body, stretching 195 inches long with a 112-inch wheelbase and weighing approximately 3,618 pounds. AMC President Roy Abernethy insisted the rear seat accommodate full-sized adults, which ruined the fastback's proportions and made the car look ungainly. Even AMC's own designer, Bob Nixon, later called it one of their worst production cars. The narrow trunk lid opening made loading cargo difficult, and performance was mediocre, with handling that didn't match its sporty pretensions. Number 9. 1960 Edsel. Ford discontinued the entire Edsel brand after producing only 2,846 units in 1960. By this point, the Edsel had been stripped of its controversial horse collar grille and looked nearly identical to Ford models, eliminating any reason for buyers to choose it. Quality control was a nightmare throughout production, with Edsels arriving at dealerships requiring dealers to spend significant time and money making them saleable. The cars were built on existing Ford and Mercury lines with no Edsel-specific training for workers, focusing on speed rather than quality. The 1960 models came with a problematic 2-speed Milo-matic transmission that generated numerous complaints about delayed shifts, jerky stops, and spin-ups on light throttle. Production ended November 19, 1959, just 5 weeks after the cars went on sale. Ford lost over $250 million on the Edsel program. Number 8. 1960-1963 Chevrolet Corvair. The early Chevrolet Corvair from 1960 to 1963 featured a swing-axle rear suspension prone to dangerous oversteer. General Motors knew about the handling issues but declined to install a front stabilizer bar that would have improved the suspension. The rear engine design placed 60 to 63% of the car's weight over the rear wheels, making the handling problems worse. The car required unusual tire pressures of 15 psi front and 26 psi rear. Most owners inflated all tires equally, resulting in dangerous oversteer. Ralph Nader's 1965 book, Unsafe at Any Speed, called it the one-car accident and destroyed the car's reputation. GM faced over 100 lawsuits connected to Corvair crashes. Additional problems included oil leaks from the air-cooled engine, a heating system that could pump noxious fumes into the cabin, and a single-piece steering column that posed impalement risks. Sales collapsed from 220,000 units in 1965 to just 109,880 after Nader's book was published. Number 7. 1961 Plymouth Fury. The 1961 Plymouth Fury featured controversial styling with a completely flat look and revised headlight eyebrows that looked both dated and awkward. The bustleback trunk design was particularly problematic, and the overall proportions appeared dumpy to many buyers. Build quality was poor, with significant rust problems appearing within the first few years, particularly in rocker panels and around the rear window. Despite offering engines ranging from the 225 cubic inch slant 6 to the powerful 413 cubic inch V8, even good powertrains couldn't save the car's poor styling and construction quality. The 1961 Fury represented the final year before Chrysler's disastrous 1962 downsizing experiment. Today, these early 1960s Furies are hard to find, mostly due to rust issues that destroyed most examples. Number 6. 1960 Dodge Dart Seneca. The 1960 Dodge Dart created marketplace confusion from day one. Despite being marketed as Plymouth's cheaper alternative and riding on Plymouth's 118-inch wheelbase, it was still classified as full size, though approximately 7 inches shorter than Dodge's standard models. This identity crisis made it difficult for buyers to understand the product positioning. The base Seneca trim came with minimal equipment and the 225 cubic inch slant 6 providing adequate but uninspiring performance. Build quality was typical for 1960s Chrysler products, with rust issues in rocker panels, trunk floors, and around suspension mounting points being common. The dramatic styling with prominent tail fins looked dated almost immediately as automotive design trends shifted toward cleaner lines. Station wagon variants looked particularly awkward and disproportionate with their mixed wheelbase and styling elements. Number 5. Chevrolet Impala. The 1959 Impala's bubble-top design with narrow C-pillars and extensive glass created a severe greenhouse effect, making cars unbearably hot in summer. Owners nicknamed them cookers, and the problem was serious enough that Ford coupes outsold Chevrolet in 1960 and 1961 despite Chevrolet's overall sales dominance. The X-frame chassis provided minimal side impact protection, creating significant safety concerns. Build quality was inconsistent, with the massive bodies prone to squeaks, rattles, and alignment issues. The electrical systems were primitive, and the complex dual headlamp setup introduced additional problems. Rust was a major issue, particularly in the trunk, rockers, and around the massive rear fenders. The single-piece steering column posed impalement risks in frontal collisions. While the 1959 Impala succeeded commercially and became an icon, owners dealt with genuine problems, including overheating, poor fuel economy, and expensive maintenance costs with massive body panels that were costly to repair or replace. Number 4. Dodge Dart. The 1962 Dodge Dart suffered from significant reliability problems despite its modern styling and compact dimensions. The base 225 cubic inch slant 6 was grossly underpowered for the car's weight, resulting in sluggish acceleration and poor throttle response that made keeping up with highway traffic difficult. The engine experienced persistent oil leaks, cooling system failures, and carburetor problems that required frequent attention. The automatic transmission shifted harshly and required constant adjustments to maintain proper operation. Electrical problems were common, with wiring harnesses deteriorating quickly and causing shorts. Build quality was inconsistent, with varying panel gaps, rattling interior trim pieces, and doors that didn't align properly. Rust appeared rapidly in lower body panels and around wheel wells, often within just a few years of ownership. 1960 Mercury. The 1960 Mercury rode on a massive 126-inch wheelbase and weighed over 4,500 pounds, resulting in poor fuel economy, difficult parking, and expensive maintenance. Production reached only 154,000 units, marginally up from 1959, but nowhere near competitive levels. The massive cars were expensive to operate, with owners facing high costs for tires, brakes, and other consumables that wore out faster due to the vehicle's weight. The 312, 383, and 430 cubic inch V8 engines were powerful, but consumed fuel excessively. The optional multi-drive Merc-O-Matic transmission added complexity and potential failure points. Build quality was inconsistent, with electrical issues, power steering leaks, and trim pieces falling off as common complaints. The cars handled poorly due to size and weight, making them unwieldy in urban environments. Mercury's attempt to position itself between Ford and Lincoln satisfied nobody, and starting in 1961, Mercury would become little more than a restyled, more expensive Ford. Number 2. 1960 Plymouth Fury. The 1960 Plymouth Fury featured dramatic overhangs extending from front to rear that compromised visibility and made judging the car's extremities while parking difficult. The severely sloped roofline drastically reduced rear seat headroom, making the back uncomfortable for adult passengers, except in the convertible model. The car measured over 213 inches long with a 122-inch wheelbase and weighed approximately 3,700 pounds. While mechanical components were generally reliable, the impractical body design meant form had completely overtaken function. This was Chrysler's forward-look styling philosophy at its most extreme, creating daily frustration for owners who needed practical family transportation rather than show car styling. Number 1. 1961 Dodge Polara and Matador. The 1961 Dodge Polara and Matador take the top spot with bizarre reverse slant fins that looked like they were designed for traveling backward. While General Motors and Ford moved toward cleaner, more modern designs, Chrysler stubbornly clung to finned excess that was already outdated. The bodies were prone to rust, particularly in stress areas around the massive and complex tail fin structures. Electrical systems were unreliable, and the cars developed squeaks and rattles quickly due to poor assembly quality. The dramatic styling meant expensive body panels that were difficult and costly to repair when damaged. Under the wild exterior sat conventional mechanicals that were reliable enough, but that couldn't save buyers from depreciation disaster. These cars lost value faster than almost anything else on the road, as buyers moved toward more modern designs. Today, the 1961 Polara and Matador are rarely seen outside of car shows, and even dedicated Mopar enthusiasts struggle to defend their awkward appearance.